Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of I Pick Passion. If you're new here, this is the podcast where we explore living with purpose, passion, and joy, where we educate, entertain, and inspire with community. Today's episode is extra special because we're diving into a topic that touches every part of our lives, not just mental or physical wellness, but a holistic check-in with ourselves, including our sexual wellness. Why this episode matters? Well, as we approach the end of the year, it's easy to get so busy that we forget to check in with the most important person, ourselves. I realized recently that I haven't been as intentional about my wellness as I'd like to be. I haven't been moving my body like I need to, and I've definitely been stressed out. So today, I want us to take a moment together to pause and reflect on how we're doing mind, body, and soul. What we're going to cover in this episode is how to assess your mental and emotional wellness, why physical and sexual wellness matter, and how to prioritize them, and also some simple, actionable habits that we can all start this week. Before we get into the details, let's talk about what wellness actually means. I think we often hear the word wellness and immediately think about green smoothies or expensive fitness classes. But to me, wellness is about balance and care, mentally, physically, emotionally, and yes, sexually. So some examples of what each wellness area means. In mental wellness, I would say this is about reducing stress and finding clarity. Think about how often you feel overwhelmed or mentally drained. That's a sign to pause and reset. And I have to say, recently, I have been extremely mentally drained, just feeling very mentally bogged down. And that's where the stress is coming from. It's this having so much on my plate, mentally being pulled here, pulled there, time just passing by, and mentally it's kind of been exhausting. So that's what mental wellness is. And physical wellness isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling good also. It's moving your body in ways that energize you and eating foods that fuel you. And again, I know we're all probably, a lot of us are guilty of not always, I'm not going to say all because obviously I'm not going to speak for all. A lot of us are on our stuff and doing what we know we need to do because we know better and we're doing better. But some of us, myself, has not been doing what I know, the know better. I know better, but I'm not doing better. I haven't quite put that into practice or made a habit of doing better. I'm not moving my body like I should. I have to be honest. I'm not doing that on a consistent basis, as consistent as I would like. I talked about that in our last episode, that I have not been doing very good with that wellness piece, with the physical wellness piece. So I am trying to get better, and slowly but surely, I'm gonna get there. I aspire, and eating the foods I do, at least if I'm not moving my body as I should, I at least try to balance with the foods that I know my body needs and getting nourishment. I try. Again, this is a trying effort every day. I can cook, and sometimes I like to cook. Do I love to cook? No. Do I like to cook? Yes, sometimes. Not all the time, because sometimes, you just get busy, and it's like taking the time to cook sometimes is just so, right? But eating out every day, that's number one, money. That's money that is unnecessary to be spent, especially when you can cook and you know better. Again, that know better piece. When you know better, you can do better. And so I've been trying to practice doing better at cooking, making groceries, being intentional with cooking, meal prepping. I've been trying to do better with that because it is important, and not spending money like that. And also eating out is not healthy. I mean, let's just be honest. Eating out every day is not healthy. It's ultimately not healthy for you. There are healthy choices, more healthy choices that you can get and buy. That's true. But do we really know ultimately what we're getting if we're not cooking it ourselves? No, we don't. So it is, it's a good practice to cook if you can. If not, There are cooking videos. There are so many resources these days that can help you with that. There's always cookbooks, but there's YouTube these days. There's the internet. Recipes are everywhere. And so, yeah, I just say if you can, not everybody can cook or not everybody desires to cook. I get it. But if you can, think about the benefit for your body. Think about what you could do for your body in doing so. And, I try to do better. I'm guilty sometimes of not getting my veggies in as I should. I'm definitely a fruit girl. I will eat my fruit. I do that. Try to definitely get my fruit in every single day. Mixed fruit, I mix it up. I'll do my apples. I'll do kiwi. I'll do, strawberries, blueberries. I'm all around when it comes to my fruit. But when it comes to my veggies, I lack sometimes, y'all. I'm just being honest. I lack sometimes. So that is a part of the fuel that my body needs. And I know that I need to do better. So those are some of our wellness areas that we're going to work on, right? So emotional wellness. This is the work of unpacking feelings, setting boundaries, and practicing self-love. We all need that, y'all. We all need that. We all need to set boundaries. I think boundaries are important in any relationship. Boundaries are ultimately extremely, extremely important. And I think we should do better. Not all of us practice that regularly. Not all of us practice setting boundaries as we should. And unpacking feelings, dealing with the feelings. Like, it's okay to feel your feelings. It's how you deal with those feelings. It's unpacking that. Why do I feel this way? What can I do to what can be done, or what can I control to change said feeling? What can I do to make that better? It's the awareness. And so, and practicing self-love, loving on yourself. If you don't love yourself, you can't be good to anyone else or for anyone else. Loving yourself first to live your life, to do what it is that you need to do for your mental health, for your emotional health, for your physical health, all the things. And lastly, yes, sexual wellness is just as important. It's about understanding your body, feeling confident, and breaking down the taboos around talking about it. So I encourage you guys to take a moment right now, ask yourself, how am I doing in these areas? Am I thriving in some and struggling in others? Write it down if you need to. Again, awareness is the first step, specifically mental and physical, that I am really trying to tap into and be better at. And I want to say something about the mental wellness area. When it comes to mental wellness, I believe that being more organized, and that's something that I have struggled with. And I'm trying to get better at being more organized. And I think that helps I think that can help in a lot of components in your life. Mental wellness is real, y'all. Taking care of yourself is real. And if it helps you to be more organized, to write it down, put things in your calendar, because sometimes we have so much going on that, we might forget. And it's easy to do when you have a lot going on. So organization is definitely important to be able to be better at that mental wellness area. So either way, I'll be honest, my mind, again, has been all over the place lately between managing the podcast, creating content, and life in general. My demanding full-time job, and that takes up a lot of my mental space with different components that requires of me. So I've been feeling like there aren't enough hours in the day. But when I took a step back, I realized I wasn't giving myself space to just breathe. So here's what's been helping me. I have been putting things on my calendar, as I just mentioned. I have been putting things on my calendar and being intentional about taking a moment to just process, right? Really just processing what I have to do, what's going on, what's bothering me. Really just being intentional about that time and writing things down, or, again, said putting things on my calendar, reminders, utilizing that. We have these resources and these tools for a reason. They're right there for us to use, and we should be using those. They're on our phones. We have them. We use our phones every single day. We have them in our hands every single day. Why aren't we utilizing our calendars, reminders, and all these apps and resources? So many that the internet and everything these days is endless. There are so many resources that we have no excuse to not be, take some mental space off of your plate, with just writing it down. So it can you can get it out of your brain and onto paper on your phone. Because some people still like to write, and writing things down. I'm definitely more of a digital girl when it comes to those things. So just being more intentional with that, that's been helping me when it comes to my mental wellness, because it's been a lot lately, y'all. This is just a moment of honesty, and I just want to be vulnerable with you guys for a minute, that it's been some days you just like, you know, pulling yourself out of bed, like, oh, gotta get out of bed, to get the day started. And sometimes not really knowing what direction, like, okay, what direction, what am I doing? I feel like I'm swimming, but I'm going nowhere. That's where it's been feeling. And so it's been difficult, but I trust and believe in God, and I know that everything will be just fine. So I don't worry, but mentally it's been just draining. And but just, when you just got so much going on, I get up and I gotta do this, doing the things that sometimes we don't want to do, you know. That's what I mean. And just saying like, oh, I gotta, okay, I got this. Okay, I should be doing this. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. And you're pulled here. You're like being pulled all these different directions. Sometimes it is hard to stay on track. So that is why, again, it's important. That goes back to the writing things down, and or putting them in your phone and getting them out of your head, and trying to help yourself be better organized, because life be lifing, y'all. And finances aren't going anywhere. Like all the things, the responsibilities of life, if you're a parent, if you have a spouse, like all these, there's responsibilities to each area in your life, your job, if you have a side hustle, whatever the case may be, there are responsibilities in people in your life that require or expect certain things from you. They require parts of you. And again, and getting rest, like that's something that trying to be, like when I was talking about pulling myself out of bed, making sure that I am getting the rest that I need. Since I came back from my trip, I have to say, when I came back from New York, it's funny because it's on the exact same time zone. I'm in the same time zone. I didn't leave my time zone. But however, I just feel like I came back and it took me so long. And then the time changed on top of that, right after that. So, and in some ways it's weird because it's like we gain an hour, but it just feels like, man, like for a while, it just took me a while to get back on track. It felt like I could not get my sleeping habits could not get back on track. I was going to bed late, waking up later. It was just all over the place. I'm like, I can't seem to get right. And then being busy, that really kind of had my sleep schedule all over the place too. So just trying to make sure my body, everything, every part of myself is regulated as it should be. Trying to keep myself regulated mentally, physically, emotionally, all the things. It's a daily practice. And sleep is very important for physical wellness, but also mental wellness. So that plays a part in making sure that I'm getting the sleep that my body needs to be my best self every single day, to show up for myself every single day, and my demanding demands that I have, with my job and all the things every single day. Getting sleep is important. I think in some ways we all have been feeling a bit of just anxiety with how the world and how, things that have been going on. I think it's just sometimes it's mentally it can be, challenging. Sometimes we don't have the energy to do the things, because it's like the world is just like, we just want to escape from, our real world, right? Like we don't want to face the reality. We just kind of want to escape from it. But the reality is we have to do it. We can't run away. We got to face it head on, like face whatever it is that you're dealing with, face the things that's going on in the world, face all the things. We cannot escape it. We can't run away from it. Prayer definitely helps. I have to say that prayer is essential. Knowing God is essential. That's a non-negotiable. Like sometimes setting micro boundaries, like little boundaries. It could be small, but it could be so powerful to make a difference. And when it comes to emotional a wellness practice, this week I've tried something new, but not really new, because I've always been one that sometimes for emotions I have to talk it out, like, and even if it means that I'm talking to myself, People can say, you talk to yourself? Yeah, I do. And I talk to myself sometimes and I get answers. Like a lot of times talking it out loud allows me to hear it, and then allows me to pivot or adjust accordingly or figure out where I might have gone wrong or what actually took place and what happened. Am I right about what I'm feeling? Am I wrong about what I'm feeling? Those are some of the things that I do when it comes to the emotional piece. I will talk it out loud because sometimes it helps to get it out, And I don't always want to hear somebody else's opinion. I don't always want to talk to somebody else about it. I talk out loud. I might talk to God about it, but I don't always want to talk to someone. Sometimes I can get the best answers from myself, just talking it out loud. So if I feel stressed, I literally say to myself, I feel overwhelmed, but I'm doing my best. It might sound silly, but it works. Just talking it out loud, getting those things out, to name whatever emotion it is that you're feeling, to say it, to admit it to yourself, to not run from it. Like, this is the way that I'm feeling, and now what am I going to do about it? So again, I'll be honest, back to the working out piece. I have fallen off the workout wagon a bit, but I've started reframing how I see movement. Instead of thinking I need to work out, I tell myself I get to move my body today. It's a privilege, not a chore. And it is. We have to be mindful that being able to move your body is a blessing, right? Because there's someone or people that did not wake up this morning. There's someone who's not able to move their body freely. And so to be able to do that is a blessing. Another thing I'm working on is letting go of guilt around food. Wellness is about balance, not restriction. I had that ice cream last Sunday. I didn't feel guilty about it. I kind of did, but I didn't. I was like, girl, enjoy yourself. I had a couple servings of that ice cream, and I would have eaten all of it. But of course, I had more control than that. But it's about balance. It is not something that you do all the time. It's okay to treat yourself. It's okay to do it and not feel bad about it. But here's a practical habit. If you're struggling with this, try adding 1 extra serving of veggies or fruits to your meals this week. Small steps lead to big changes. Okay, so now we're going to talk about sexual wellness and why that is important. Okay, we're going to talk about the part of wellness that we don't often discuss. I know this might feel a little uncomfortable for some of you, but hear me out. This is about feeling good in your own skin, understanding your body, and fostering healthy intimacy. We've been taught to tiptoe around this topic, but here's the truth. Sexual health impacts your emotional health, your confidence, and even your stress levels. It's all connected. Once I started learning about my body and embracing it, I felt a new sense of empowerment when I understood my body and became comfortable in my sexuality. I've always been very open, honestly, to discussing, or talking about sexual conversations. It never made me feel uncomfortable. Never, ever has it made me feel uncomfortable. That's something that I've probably been more open than some other people, or my family, or having those discussions as a family. Those things never, obviously there's privacy, and I keep certain parts of my sexual wellness or those things to myself. Obviously not everything is shared, but just in general, I don't have a problem with having sexual discussions, okay? Not necessarily pertaining to me, but just in general. So prioritizing that part of your life, though, is definitely life-changing. We have to know and understand that we are sexual beings, and it is okay to feel things and to have healthy conversations and healthy boundaries, and being honest with yourself about what you feel, what you want, all those desires and all those things. And so once upon a time, I didn't prioritize that because I didn't know. It just wasn't something, when you're younger, you're like, okay, you're young, you don't really understand all of the real work. What it really means is when you're younger, you don't really understand your body until you start to get older, and your body goes through changes, and you see things, Like all of the things that come and happen, and that the awareness as you get older, then you then begin to prioritize those parts of yourself, and you know the benefits of them as well. When you know the benefits of them, then it's like, man, you can prioritize it. It means more to you when you understand it better. And so being older and being now in my latter 30s, I do see and I understand the importance of taking care of my body in those ways. Not that I never took care of my body before, but when I say taking care of my body, I mean the sexual wellness part of it, being aware of the things that my body needs, all of those components. I've always took care of the things that needed to be taken care of when it comes to making sure that I'm being responsible with my body. Even when I was in my 20s, I've always been responsible, never been reckless with my body whatsoever. That's not even in me to be that way. But now that I've gotten older, I really understand and have studied parts of my body and me, and the changes that my body may experience in getting older, and just having to be honest with myself in those parts. It's been life-changing. So here are some ways to start prioritizing your sexual wellness. Learn about your body, whether it's reading a book, listening to a podcast, or having an open conversation with a trusted friend. Also practicing self-love. This might mean scheduling some me time, or simply looking in the mirror and appreciating your body for what it is. Loving yourself. Like that self-love component is so important, and being comfortable and loving who you are in your skin, looking at yourself every day and like, oh, she's beautiful, she's amazing, loving all those parts of yourself, even the parts sometimes that we might look at, because we as women especially, we look at ourselves, we're like, oh, I wish this, and we want to change certain things, but loving who you are anyway. Like, I wake up every day and I love who I am. I love myself. I could do better with how I treat myself. I'll say that. That's a word. I can do better with how I treat myself, but I know I love myself. That's it right there. That's what I will say. I can do better with how I treat myself, but I know that I love myself, and I love the skin that I'm in, and I know who I am. Okay. I am still uncovering parts of myself, but I love who I am and the woman that I'm becoming. So here are some healthy habits for the week. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a few actionable habits you can try this week. Start a 5-minute gratitude practice. Write down 3 things you're thankful for each day. Move your body at least 3 times, even if it's just a walk around the block. Reflect on one thing you love about your body and say it out loud. Spend time learning one new thing about your body or your wellness journey. All righty. Well, I hope this episode inspire you to check in with yourself. I'd love to hear what habits or reflections you're taking away from today. Message me on social media or leave a comment to let me know how you're prioritizing your wellness. And remember, wellness isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Every small step you take adds up. Don't forget to tune in next week for more conversations about living a passionate and fulfilling life. Until then, take care of yourselves. You deserve it.